Hey everyone, my name is Andy Hall. You can call me Dr. Kennard. This is the Disappointed Cat Morning Show where we talk about news. We use words to make fun, expose, reveal the religious right. I think that's the correct thing to do. Is that the right thing to do? I think that is the right thing to do. I hope you're all doing well. What's the first story this morning? Well, if you took a look at that wonderful thumbnail for the show, we're going to talk about this story right here. Christians are protesting a commercial that shows a gay man eating peanut butter because it's 2022. And what's this? What's this? He hugs another man. Scandal, scandal, and scandal. I'm going to show you the commercial too. I have it all queued up. But first, let's take a deeper look. It's those million moms. Of course, you know they're on a million moms. They just they want to make you think that there's a lot of them. 1 million moms, an AstroTurf group funded by the anti-LGBTQ hate group American Family Association, has sent out a breathless action alert to alert supporters decrying the matchmaking site's advertisement, "Here for real love." Quote, "It's the site's attempt to normalize and glorify the LGBTQ lifestyle by featuring a homosexual couple hugging, feeding each other, and wiping the other one's mouth," unquote, group leader Karen Cole. I'm sorry, her name isn't Karen. It's Monica, Cole wrote in an email. By promoting same-sex relationships, eHarmony wants to make it clear where they stand on this controversial topic instead of remaining neutral in the culture war. Let's talk about language for a minute. You see, if they were going there's no neutrality in the culture war, everyone. You see, if there's a toxic and evil system that's already in place in society, and if you stay neutral about it, then you are complicit. You are passively accepting it. There's no neutrality in the culture war. There is concern about the way this advertisement is pushing the LGBTQ agenda. When even greater concern is that the commercial is airing when children, what about the children? What about the children are likely watching television? You know, these are the same people that will bring their kids into Sunday school where they'll be taught about how gentle Jesus was nailed up to the cross. It's basically torture porn, everyone. I remember when I was first given an in-depth lesson, I was about 6 or 7 years old, about what crucifixion actually meant. Because up until that time, it was all just Easter bunnies and isn't life great? But then, right around that time, they tell you about what crucifixion actually means. And that is a traumatizing experience. But these are the same people who think that this commercial is going to harm children. You know, can we run the tape? Let's run the tape, everyone. I don't know who I have no engineer. This is just me. But let's check this out.
Real love is enjoying my own space and wanting to share it with him.
Real love begins on eHarmony. We get to know you better, to match you better. eHarmony, here for real love.
So that was the million moms want to make you feel like that was just gay porn that they were showing, that eHarmony was spreading around to have, you know, making your kids watch it. Absurd, everyone. But this is what you expect from the people who cry out. It's the woke people who want to cancel, right? It's the snowflakes that are getting their feelings hurt, the people on the left, when in all reality, the people on the right are the ones who created cancel culture to begin with. Checking out the chat. If this is your first time here, if you're watching on Twitter, if you're watching on Facebook, you're going to see that I'm interacting with the YouTube chat. That's because I can see the chat here. If you want to join us, just find Laughing in Disbelief on YouTube. There should be a link somewhere there. Checking out Big Zebra. Manufactured outrage. That is correct, Marmaduke Scarlet. Well, Cindy Plaza, if you're at home and you have your Christian outrage bingo card, it's gay and a mixed race couple, misogyny along with homosexuality. Yeah, it is ridiculous. Here we go. Imaginary God. If you are neutral in situations of injustice, you have chosen the side of the oppressor. Oppressor. Do you like that? The oppressor. Yes, indeed. You're going to go over to Twitter and say stuff. Good for you. Talk to Mordecai. This is true, Dave. Simply Secular Dave from the West Coast there. They act like watching it will send them into anaphylactic shock. Yeah, it's, the first time I saw that commercial, I was sitting on the couch with a girlfriend. We were watching it together. And the first 2 seconds of it's like, I don't know what this is a commercial for. Is it for Wayfair? Is it for it could have been for some kind of furniture company. And then it's a match. It's like a dating site. Hope everyone's doing good this morning. How ridiculous is that, right? OMG, their children. That's right. It's always about that. It's always about clutching the pearls and going, oh, what about the children? What's up, Tesla Ranger? eHarmony is in the love business. Well, they're in the relation. Well, yeah, we'll go with that. How can they remain neutral? Exactly. If you treat, it's almost as if eHarmony is treating people in the LGBTQ community as if they're people, as if they're human beings. Well, this is a good point, KCA Randy. I'm glad you point this out. 1 million rolls off the tongue better than 30-something moms. Indeed. Just checking out what everyone else. 1 million monsters. Big Zeb. Good. All right, I think I'm caught up with everyone. Good to see you, Cindy Plaza. Good to see you this morning. And everyone else blazing. I'm on my second cup of coffee. Some of you who might be on Twitter or Facebook might have noticed that I was up at 4 o'clock this morning. Yeah, that was me. That was me in the corner. That was me in the spotlight. Losing my religion, but getting my brain back, getting my life back. I don't know. I was up early this morning, so this is me at being up since 4. All right. You want to do another story? Of course you want to do another story. Oh, nothing but fun this morning. Okay, so this is a 2-part story. It starts out with, wow, that's really bad. And then the second part of the story is that this is a very United States of America kind of way to deal with a problem. Is there a military solution? You would think that there isn't. But, let's just get into it. More than half of teachers are looking for the exits, a poll says. This is from NPR, everyone, National Public Radio. You can look at the link in the description. A national education poll conducted in January helps quantify the stress being placed on educators right now. It found that the number who say they'll leave their profession sooner has risen significantly since August. Among the NEA's polls, other findings, 90% of its members say that feeling burned out is a serious problem. 86% say they have seen more educators leaving the profession or retiring early since the start of the pandemic. 80% report that unfilled job openings had led to more work obligations for those who left. The poll, of course, because this is the United States of America, of course there's going to be, the cardinal sin here in the States is, of course, racism. And our racist legacy just makes this situation even worse. The poll found a racial gap in discontent. 62% of Black teachers and 59% of Hispanic teachers say they will leave earlier than planned, compared with 55% overall. But the desire to leave the profession was at similar levels for rookies, mid-career educators, and those closer to retirement. Our morning emails every day start with the vacancies that have been unfilled, says Amber McCoy, an NEA member who teaches 4th grade in Huntington, West Virginia. It will tell us where we have staffing shortages in the building and ask us to step in any way that we can. Of course, saying that you're leaving or thinking about leaving or reporting the perception that others are leaving is not the same as actually putting in your notice. Still, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says that there are 500 567 fewer educators in America's schools today than there were before the pandemic. I'm going to say it again once more with feeling. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there are 567,000 fewer educators in America's public schools today than there were before the pandemic. And the NEA's analysis of the BLS data indicates that 43% of the jobs posted are going unfulfilled or unfilled. When it comes to solutions, the NEA says money is uppermost in members' minds. They support raising salaries and hiring more people. The union has been amplifying the Biden administration's message that the American Rescue Plan money, $122 billion to federal aid in K-12 schools, can and should be used to help improve pay and create new positions. So, teachers, yeah, this is the thing. I'm going to say trite words right now. Gosh, coronavirus has exacerbated, have made things worse for things that were already bad. So you had a crappy education system. Coronavirus has just made it crappier. Now, I promised you that there'd be a military solution to this problem, something that is so totally the United States of America. And look, here it is. I found this story just before the show started. I didn't put the link in the description, but you can find it. Here it is on the web. Oh my God. National Guard soldiers now substitute teaching in New Mexico. You're not reading that. See? The military can do everything. National Guard soldiers now substitute teaching in New Mexico. Here is National Guard specialist Austin Alt stands as he fills in as a substitute teacher due to staffing shortages caused by the coronavirus disease pandemic and other non-illness related absences at the, I'm not going to try to pronounce that, it's a middle school in New Mexico. Yes, National Guard. No teaching experience. At least Austin Alt doesn't have any teaching experience. Here it is. As of this week, 78 members of the New Mexico National Guard have begun to work as substitute teachers. They are responding to a call from Governor Michelle Grisham, who also asked state employees to volunteer as an effort to keep schools open during the acute shortage of teachers exacerbated by the Omicron wave of COVID-19. So even though these National Guard soldiers, they aren't coming in to deal with the systemic issue of long-term teacher shortages, they are there to help fill the gap of Omicron teachers out. Now you're wondering to yourself, gosh, I wonder if there are mask mandates in the schools. At least the people here in this photograph are wearing masks. I'm wondering whether or not there are vaccine mandates for teachers. That's an interesting question. Maybe there are. I don't know. Secretary of Education Kurt Steinhaus praises teachers who adapted to the pandemic. Those teachers stepped up to the plate and put in extra hours, worked weekends, he says. But as the months stretched out, our teachers are saying, I'm tired. I've been on this emotional wagon here for so long, I just can't continue. And it's really rough. And they have a shortfall of more than 1,000 teachers. And it's and that's what they're doing. They're calling in the guard. They're calling in the guard, everyone. Going to check out the chat before doing the halftime tummy rub show. Well, it is curious that he is wearing his work uniform, Dr. Mordecai, right? You would think he would just come in with just his civvies because it's a classroom. Yeah. Let's see. Gary Priestley says, if the education sector has gotten worse, it becomes an ideal candidate for right-wing privatization. You're right. You're right, Gary Priestley. Yeah, you're totally spot on with that. Yes, I think, Jeddah, that is probably a good way of responding. It's like what John Christian said. And blazing. Child soldiers, the solution, indeed. Oh, really big Zeb. The blame the teacher game is long tradition in Canadian schools. Yeah. Well, this is a good point, Gary Priestley, because a lot of the teachers here in the States are getting a lot of what's the scholastic term? What's the scholarly term? Crap. They're getting a lot of crap from parents, anti-vaxxer parents, anti-masker parents. And you can see how that is just making the entire situation worse. Let's see. Oh, it's pronounced Waki. Okay, interesting. Cindy, as former military, sometimes you have some missions in the civilian world, but as a military, then you have to wear your uniform. Oh, at least in France. Interesting. Well, thank you for pointing that out. All right. So we're 16 minutes into the show. Time is just flying this morning. I'm going to do the halftime tummy rub show. I'm going to take a look at a cat. This is actually an informative little cat video I'm going to share with you. And then after the break, are we going to talk about fact-checking Joe Rogan? I think we are.
Things I guarantee you didn't know about your cat. Let's do this. A cat blinks at you, it's his way of telling you he loves you. So don't be shy, blink back. Cats greet each other by touching noses. The best way to introduce yourself to a cat is to let it touch the tip of your finger with its nose. That way it would mimic the way cats communicate with each other. Cats are farsighted. Cat eyes are so large that they can't focus on anything closer to a foot in front of their face. This is why it's better that you get a cat to recognize you through smell, because they can't always recognize you through sight. Cats have no collarbones. That means they can fit through any opening that's the size of their head. If you're allergic to cats, you're not allergic to their fur. You're actually allergic to their saliva. Problem is they spend so much time cleaning themselves that they get covered in the saliva that triggers the allergies.
All right, so that's cats. Let's talk about Joe Rogan. Let's talk about this guy. As many of you know, Joe Rogan, controversial character. We've covered him like a million times on this show. He officially not apologized about the trouble he's made for Spotify because, as you well know, if you've been following the show, there have been various artists, musical artists, musicians who are left Spotify, the streaming platform for podcasters and musicians. So he made this 10-minute long video on Instagram saying that it was a non-apology apology. The Guardian did this really interesting article. I'm not going to cover all the points that they fact-checked. I'm just going to cover two. Name of the article is Joe Rogan's COVID claims. What does the science actually say? I wonder if the science agrees with Joe Rogan. What's the over-under on that? Podcasters made numerous disputed claims about the virus, vaccines, and lockdowns. Let's check out the first one. I'm afraid what's going to happen. Let me express to you what I'm afraid that's going to happen. I'm going to start saying the words, and then I'm going to get a strike, or I'm not going to be able to post for a week. I'm already kind of in trouble, but these stories are important. So I'm going to just keep going. I'm just going to keep doing my thing here. In his 20th August 2021 podcast, Rogan claimed the Pfizer and Moderna COVID-19 vaccines were not really vaccines, but gene therapy. Quote, a vaccine is where they take a dead... Oh, man, it's just how much a person doesn't know. A vaccine is where they take a dead virus and then they turn it into a vaccine. So, if you use the word to define the word, maybe you don't understand the word properly. That's all I'm saying, everyone. And they inject it into your body so that your body fights off the infection, he said. This is really gene therapy. This is being the mRNA vaccines. It's a different thing. It's tricking your body into producing a spike protein and making these antibodies for COVID. Okay, so that's the claim, and here's the fact check. It's true that mRNA vaccines persuade our own cells to manufacture the viral spike protein, which in turn prompts the production of antibodies. However, whereas gene therapy is designed to permanently alter an individual's genes, mRNA vaccines issue instructions to protein-making machinery located in the cytoplasm, which degrade after 72 hours. Because immune cells are able to remember pieces of the virus they've encountered, this temporary encounter still has a lasting effect, but doesn't alter our genome. Joe Rogan, It seems like you were wrong, sir. It seems like you were shooting from the hip and weren't really clear on your science, but you decided to say the words anyway and thus influence gaggles, millions of your viewers, of your listeners. All right. Oh, man, it just hurts. It just hurts my brain saying the words, everyone. Lockdowns, quote unquote. Well, you can see the words. Do I have to say it? I'll say it. Make things worse. Rogan has also spoken out against lockdowns, arguing that they can perpetuate the spread of COVID-19. It makes things worse. You know why? Because people go inside. They are trapped inside, and that's where it spreads, he said. I think anyone. I think when my kids were in middle school, I think they could have figured out what was wrong with Joe Rogan's statement right there. And I think most of you out there in the audience, out there watching, knows, Joe, I don't think you really understand how the process works. However, according to an analysis of the impact of lockdowns and social distancing in 11 European countries published in Nature, such measures together have a, quote, substantial effect, unquote, on transmission. It is true that since the virus is airborne, transmission is more likely indoors, especially if ventilation is poor. But the point of lockdowns, and here's the secret sauce, everyone, but the point of lockdowns is to reduce the number of contacts and thus the likelihood of encountering somebody who is infectious, the researcher said. I don't even, it's good that there's a peer-reviewed research there, but I think anyone with a functioning brain can figure out that you want to limit contact points, right? I don't think you need an advanced degree. Maybe you just have to sit down and think about it and reflect. Well, apparently that's not this man's thing. That's not what he's all about. By the way, I know we're about to close out the show. I haven't mentioned that there are no ads here, right? Because I'm not going to subject you to Amazon ads. Maybe after they unionize, probably not. All completely funded by YouTube members, by super chats, by patrons, people who toss me a couple of shekels in Venmo, PayPal, links in the description below. So thank you all checking out the chat. Oh, there's also the 9:30 show. I should say those words too. The 9:30 show, open room, 9:30 to 10:30. If you want to be on, link in the description below. Oh, man. Yes, imaginary God. Joe Rogan has reached the summit of that august mountain. Yeah, well, that's the thing, Marmaduke. Many people think he is the thing, right? They think he's great. And that's because what happens is that Joe Rogan is really good about being able to communicate. That's the dark power of being a comedian, is that he's good in the pocket and he's good. He makes it appear as if he knows what he's talking about. He says it confidently. And maybe his audience aren't the best critical thinkers. Maybe they're Dunning-Krugering themselves a lot. Maybe, perhaps, definitely. Well, some of Inquisitor Bacon, some of the, I don't know if you saw the recent clip of Jordan Peterson on his show talking about the Museum of the Bible. You want to talk about crazy word salad there. Jordan Peterson talking to Joe Rogan. It's nuts. Let's see. That's what he is. Cindy Plaza shitting from the hip. That's what he is. All right. Did I catch up? Hey, what's up, Theo? Hope you're doing well this morning. Yeah, I do a lot of head bumps with my cat, to tell you the truth. Talking about the cat video, saying hello to each other when I first come in from work. Yeah, there might be a little head bump there between me and Biscuit, perhaps. All right. Oh, you have to watch that? There has to be a clip somewhere on the internet, on YouTube, because I saw the clip on Twitter, to tell you the truth, about Jordan Peterson talking about how the Bible is really the first book. The Bible, Jordan Peterson tells Joe Rogan, and he has a very nice, spiffy bow tie while he's telling them this, Jordan Peterson. He's like, the Bible is really the first book. And I'm like, you keep saying words, but you don't really know what they mean. It is. That's right. Imaginary God. Knucklehead versus Sophist. Sophist? I'm pronouncing it like that. All right. One more cat video, and then I got to show the thank you video, and then I'll see you at 9:30, everyone, hopefully.
Soft kitty, warm kitty, little ball of fur. Happy kitty, sleepy kitty, purr, purr, purr.